In a world where two retired vets decided their phone conversations about WWE and storylines would make a good podcast, only one podcast dares to predict the future, where every move, every feud, every moment is overanalyzed. Grab your number 2 pencils. Get ready to step into the squared circle. This is your front row seat to the storylines as you wish they were written. Welcome to the If We Had the Pencil podcast. Here are your hosts, Sean Green and Matt Jackson.
Welcome to the If We Had the Pencil podcast. I'm your host, Sean Green. With me, as always, is my tag team partner, the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, the Florida man, Matt freaking Jackson. Matt, how the hell are you?
Good. I don't know if I'm a superhero or a criminal.
Depends on the day of the week. You can be a tweener like Batman.
Yeah, and I'm a legend in my own mind. So there we go.
Exactly, man. Fun weekend of wrestling, man. Like good stuff going on. I always love when they go to Europe and. You know, and it's funny, when I was thinking about how to name this episode, all I could think of is like National Lampoon's Vacation. Like, look, kids, Big Ben, Parliament, you know? So I was like, yeah, I was going to make a Pepe Le Pew reference, but they haven't quite made it to France yet. So I was like, I'll hold off. We'll talk Clash next week. But
nice. We're a minute in. We got a movie reference in. We got a classic cartoon character reference in.
I'm checking off all the boxes today.
There we go. We got quotas to fill.
Yeah. The nostalgia quota. I don't think shows like Bewitched or I Dream of Jeannie are looking for sponsors anymore. Yeah, man, great weekend. And let's just dive into it. We got a lot to talk about today. We got a lot to get through. So SmackDown starts off, and they're in Dublin, which is where Becky's from, and Becky starts the show, and we think we're gonna get, canned, I'm home kind of stuff. And boy, did Becky Lynch do a great heel promo. Let me tell you, man. Like, I loved every second of this.
Once she came out with "You Don't Deserve It," that was it. Like, the crowd that was ready she could walk on water, or ready to put lead shoes on her and throw in the middle of the lake.
Well, it was so beautiful because it was like fishing, right? Like, she baited the hook, and they're just like, "We love you, you're here." And then, all of a sudden it's like,
home.
Yeah, you're home, yay, hometown hero. And she's like, "You don't deserve me." I'm like, yes, I love it, especially, and it's for wrestlers, especially like wrestlers from overseas. I got to imagine to do that has to be very difficult, because you want to kind of chase the hug in that instance, because you're like, I'm home, man. This is what I've always dreamed about. And then she took the ball and ran with it, man. I loved everything about it.
Yeah, but she got for about 2 or 3 minutes before she, at the very beginning of her promo, when she was waxing nostalgia of her time in Dublin, she was getting the love. So she got her moment of love, and then Becky just got to be Becky off the rails. It was really cool. Yeah. I mean, she flipped that crowd like they didn't even get a chance to take a breath. They went from like cheer to boo in the same breath.
Yep. And she flipped it on their head. Stratton came out too. Stratton kind of planted her flag that SmackDown's her show, and I was like, good for you, man. Like, that did a lot for a lot of people. And then Nia Jax came out, and I was like, are we back to this now? Like, there's certain matchups lately that I'm just tired of seeing. We kind of went through this with the Secret Hervis and Chelsea Green, and like, now I'm kind of like, I never want to see, like, I think it was Airplane. So I'm going to go another old movie reference, but like one of the airplanes, like they had a movie poster. It was like Rocky 50 or something like that. That's what I feel like Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton is like Rocky 50. Like, you've seen it before, you're going to see it again. They're going to come out and, like, at the rate the WWE's going, they're going to hit, like, Social Security age and come out in, like, walkers and still beat the crap out of each other.
Like Mae Young and Moolah out there.
Like, there's just some stuff I don't need to see anymore. So it did what it needed to. I'm happy Stratton got to put herself over, and I love that Becky promo so much, and she's killing it. I got to give her credit, man. She's killing it. She's killing it as a heel right now, and I love it for her. And it's different now too, because now we've ripped the Band-Aid of Lyra away from her, so that's also a little bit better because now that's not coming back. So good stuff, man. Good freaking stuff. So after that, our good old friend Mellow Miz, the Miz and Carmelo Hayes take on Motor City Machine Guns, and man, dude, Motor City Machine Guns can work with anybody. Like, they're so effing good. I love watching those two go. And then, we get the continuing drama of, the Miz and Mello, like this awkward, abusive relationship or whatever the hell you want to call it. And it's like, okay, I see where you're going. It's a little predictable, though.
But also, is Carmelo, he's kind of playing along. Like, he knows that Miz is all about him. Like, he's giving away in his facial certain things he says. So, there was a part in the match where Miz tagged himself in because he thought he was the veteran and knew what he was doing. And then he went to do something, then Hayes, so they kind of one-up each other with the Hayes, with the tags, the unwanted tags. But then a couple of times Hayes would make a tag or he would just tag out, let Miz take it over. And just the look on his face is like, yeah, okay, let's see how you do, tough guy, You think you're all smart and that stuff. So what I like is they're not having Hayes isn't being the blindly led puppy dog. That's he's smart. He knows Miz's game, and so he's only going to put up with it for so long. He's like, all right.
They're
winning right now, so winning cures a lot of things. Once they start losing, it
does. But I think we all know where this is going. There's going to be the eventual breakup. And then, which is cool, but, I think we got to start looking at, I think there might be a look at the mid-card titles, right? So, right now, Solo's got it. Solo's a heel. So it's maybe Sami Zayn does get it, and he does a program with Carmelo Hayes. I don't know. Ugh,
I think Hayes
turns face, though. In my mouth for saying that.
If he stays on SmackDown and he leaves The Miz, I don't think it's going to turn The Miz, because The Miz is acting too heelish. It would turn Hayes' face, which is why...
No, you don't. Miz is at his greatest as a heel.
Right, so I think that would turn Hayes' face,
as a heel.
Which leads to my idea why Carmelo needs to move over to Raw and then be recruited by Paul Heyman and the Vision. But we've talked about that the last 2 weeks. I got to get it back in again.
I'm not against it.
So, yeah.
I'm not against it. I
think
you... Yeah. All right. So then, speaking of the Glommer, so the Glommer with Jimmy Uso backstage, and, obviously, Jimmy's got big news, so the Glommer's got to show up and glom on to it, for one. And then two, there was something, I know I texted you about this, that really stuck out to me in this. And he was like, something to the effect of, I'm so focused on the U.S. title right now. And I'm like, so what the F have you been doing for the last year or 6 months or whatever the case may be? It pissed me off so bad because it's what have you been mailing it in, half-assing it? All your stuff with Karrion Kross? I'm just doing stuff and things right now. Now I'm ready to go for a title. Now I'm focused on the championship. Give me a break. His character,
he pissed me off in that segment so bad. I'm not going to repeat. I was cussing him out too. Even my wife's looking at me what's wrong with him? It's I'm Sean's right. You're an effing glommer. You're a piece of shit. Jay's not talking about him and his wife having a baby, and you step all over that. F you.
See, it's so.
And everybody in the Northeast went, amen.
So I don't know if you know this or not. So back in my youth, you do stupid stuff in your youth, especially when it comes to alcohol. Have you ever heard of the drink, the cement mixer? So you know what a cement mixer is. Sammy Zane is the cement mixer, where you put it in, and you go, and you're supposed to, I forget what makes it up, but like you put it in, you like start drinking it, but you're supposed to swirl it in your mouth, and then like it curdles into like a ball or whatever.
I
It's
think
like
it's
one of the
like
most.
Bailey's. It's Bailey's and
I
something
know
else.
Bailey's is in
Yeah.
it. There's like lime juice in it or lemon juice. One of the two. It's one of the grossest things that you'll ever do in your youth. And if you're younger, don't try it. Don't look it up. Don't do it. I promise me, you'll thank me later. But like, Sami Zayn is a cement mixer where you take that first taste and you're like, oh, this ain't so bad. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, this is gross. So, like, I'm so over Sami Zayn. Like, just revamp the character. I hope Kevin Owens comes back eventually and just cracks him in the head with a chair. Like, that's where I'm
Is he
at
still
right
the
now.
dude on the
Like,
couch,
I'm over
though?
Sami Zayn.
So he's a cement
Well,
mixer.
yeah,
He's still the
because
dude on the
like,
couch.
well, he's all that, man. Because
Yeah,
like, he's still the dude on the couch. You know why he's the dude on the couch? Because like, Naomi and Jimmy are having this great moment, and they look over at the couch, and there's Sami Zayn sitting on their couch. He ain't even Rick James in it either. He's just sitting on the couch. Like, bro, I'm so over this. And like, I'm ready. I'm so ready for this feud between MFT and the Wyatts. It's not even funny. But we'll talk about it briefly, like, here in a minute. But
So the
let's get
glamour
off of
thing,
Sami Zayn.
like was well, real quick before we get off. So do you think what he was doing that interview is that Sammy's personality, or do you think they're making him do that? Are they trying to build this character to be like that, where he's kind of a glamour?
I think that's just the character. But I think that like he gets put in these positions, and like, and he's done it for a while, but like it's really prevalent right now because he's been kind of rudderless, and like his direction has kind of sucked, and he's just been like the plucky underdog. And he even talked about that. He's like, I'm not the underdog. I'm the guy that main evented WrestleMania. And I'm like, well, where the hell's that guy been?
Why would
Like,
you want to be
you
that
know,
guy all the time? Why would you want to, take your foot up the gas and
yeah,
phone it in?
it's so stupid. Like, I'm just, his character needs like something. I don't know what it is, but it needs a nuclear explosion and a revamp. Like,
So
it's
should you put the
bad.
mask back on and be El Generico?
Probably. That'd be there. El Generico and El Grande Americano, sign me up.
There we go.
You know,
Something, because
yeah. I just want to move on. I'm so over Sami Zayn.
right.
Like, I give him far too much airtime in our pods, and I'm like, bro, like, it's got to go. All right, so after that, we get, and I apologize if my show order's dorked up, but we get Piper Niven, and we get Charlotte Flair, and Piper actually goes over. And I have never been so happy for a group to go over as I was for the Secret Hervis in that, because they needed a win, and they needed a big one. And beating Flair, good stuff. I actually, for our goddess, Chelsea Green, I don't know how else to put it, we have certain people in the pantheon, and Chelsea Green's obviously one of them for this pod, but I saw a clip of her today. Cardona freaking posted it, but it was basically like she had a WrestleMania 2000 shirt on, and he was like, what WrestleMania was that? She's like, I don't know. He's like, who was on that card? And she's like, I don't know. It was kind of humorous. It made me chuckle. So I had a good day of.
It was 16, wasn't it?
I think it was 16.
Yeah.
It was not a very good one. That was the McMahon in every corner one.
No, and then they righted that wrong the next year when they had WrestleMania 17, which is probably in the top 3 greatest all-time WrestleMania.
Is that WWE's model? Just lower the quality so bad that when you come back with a banger, you're just like, yeah, we're back, baby. I don't know. But no, it was all good stuff, man. Like, I like the interference made sense. And like I said, like the wrestling like between SmackDown and Raw this week has just been fun and good. And like, I was real happy to see Piper go over. It didn't hurt Charlotte any.
Because it was shenanigans. It wasn't straight up. There was shenanigans. And also it was good that like Alexa wasn't there, because it's going to show to Charlotte more that she can't do it all on her own. She needs somebody, which is going to get her
that's
closer.
a fair.
And then we were talking pre-show, like her moonsault. I mean, everybody throws a moonsault. I don't care. I think she's the best at it. Like, just the way she does it, she always lands center, but safe. Great. Her moonsault is fantastic. And again, the fact that she's
Believe it
having
or
fun,
not,
it
close
really shows she's
second.
having fun in everything she does. And I'm so happy that Chelsea Green and the Purvis finally got a win, because they've been doing great quality stuff, but it's like every week they're losing it. It hurts the back system.
Yeah,
Like we
it
said,
was kinda like
they're getting a little bump now because they're gonna get the world title shot. And,
nudge.
yeah,
Nudge.
yeah.
But no,
I'm gonna kill this dog.
yeah, it happens. But yeah, no, I like everything about it. I felt good for Piper Niven too, like kind of getting it in the country and everything else. So good on her, you know. But no beefs. I don't know how far you go with this story, but you know, whatever. It's a little filler. You got to be real careful with the Secret Hervis, because it's like you kind of go through this with like I talked about it earlier. Like, we got to be careful not to just lather, rinse, repeat, or cycle through a whole faction or whatever, because it gets old quick. So, like, really got to be careful about that.
But I also
So,
don't want to see Charlotte and Alexa burn through the Hervis in 5 minutes on SmackDown. Like, I still
no,
think it's got to
no.
go on a little bit further, but it doesn't. It shouldn't end on Friday night. I don't think. I think it goes,
Yep.
and then
So
then
we
you
get
move on.
we get a backstage segment with Kiana James, Julia, and Mi Chen. But Sean noticed something that Matt didn't, and I had to go back and get a screen grab of it. In
Sure
the
did.
background, doing her damn best, like chick from the Ring impression, like coming up the stairs is Nikki Cross in the background, and like I think this is important because I think we have to start paying attention a little bit more to what the Wyatts do. Like, they're not always going to be overt, but the fact that Nikki Cross is creeping around Julia, that means Nikki Cross is stalking Julia, which means Nikki Cross is probably going to start effing with Julia a little bit. Or it's Mi Chen, but I don't think so. I think it's Julia, and that means they're going to try to add another piece of gold to the Wyatts, and that's going to be that U.S. title. Do I think they get it? No. But I think you're going to see that start creeping in. You know, the rumor on the street, and I don't think it's a rumor, it's a spoiler, in the words of Paul Heyman, is that, MFT is going to have a program with the Wyatts. Bring it. Bring it. Because let me tell you, that's going to be some beautiful stuff too. And like we've already seen hints of that. Like, Eric Rowan creeping around in the background. Now you got big man on big man. Like, the MFT and the Wyatts are a great matchup, honestly. Like, size for size, skill sets. It's going to be interesting and it's going to be fun. So I love creepy, stocky, like, Wyatts, and I love that it keeps going. I mean, honestly, all this backstage segment was Mi Chen basically like, you haven't returned my calls. I want a match. Like, all right, whatevs. Like, I like Mi Chen, but she's going to get skull drug. So, yep.
I agree. But no, I totally missed it. I was either taking notes or doing something, got distracted. And, like, I saw 90% of it, but the 10% I missed, and that just goes to show that you got to pay attention when you watch these shows.
They've
really
put a lot of stuff in the background. They've been doing it a lot lately with the Kabuki Warriors, too, and that whole storyline with Io. There's been a lot of stuff on the background, too. So, like, you got to really kind of watch and pay attention. But we'll talk about that when we get to Raw. All right, to make sure my card isn't messed up, now we're on John Cena and Logan Paul, correct?
That is correct.
I am so happy John Cena's a face. Like, that promo he cut on Logan Paul was, like, awesome. And, like, honestly, he put Paul over. He didn't bury him. Paul is the type of character that can handle getting skull drug a little bit on the mic by John Cena. He can hold his own, and I think it leads to something good that I'll let you talk about later when we talk about Drew McIntyre. But, man, like, it was a great segment, and I was there for it, and I was just cheesing out, man. Cheesing out watching that. It was so good.
Yeah, it was fun, especially when Cena came out. I mean, those fans were screaming that John Cena sucks for like 2 minutes, and then they just went into their love and adoration for John Cena. They just wanted to be able to see John Cena sucks just because. They didn't believe it, but it was, they just wanted to have fun. That crowd.
It's a reflex.
Yeah, because I think it caught Cena off guard, and I think he realized, like, oh, they're just having fun. And I think it just made the whole segment was fun, and it was great. Like, John didn't even get to talk for, like, the longest time, and Logan comes out and just, tries to shred Cena, and then Cena just throwing, like, nuggets, giving him his flowers. And this is the thing, like, we were talking before how he kind of did this to Austin Theory, and it killed off Austin Theory. He kind of made sure to give Logan Paul his flowers, tell him how athletic he is and how he can be the future, and he's a future world champion. But then he just went on to say how his attitude sucks and how he has no respect for the business and all this stuff. So, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But I thought it was good. I thought Logan Paul's facials were good because all of a sudden, like, he was trying to be the cocky, I know everything Logan Paul, but when Cena was saying certain things, all of a sudden, like, you'd catch Logan Paul making a face like he was kind of listening, like it grabbed his attention. So, like, there was a lot well done. And that's another thing, like, you just can't sit there and listen to the promo. You got to watch because, they have to be exaggerant in their gestures because they're in an arena, of course, but I thought it was just really well done. And then the AA that he hit Logan with, he had some oomph behind that one.
He did. He put a little mustard on it.
Yeah, he did.
But it was great. And, like, I was so happy with that. And, we'll talk about it at the end, but, there's a little more to the story than that. But so after that, Street Profits and MFT, Profits go over, which is fine. Chaos, the Glamour comes out, Jimmy Uso comes out, they're after MFT. Like, I can watch this tag division just go. Like, I can watch the Street Profits all day, every day. Like, I kind of hate how the Street Profits are booked because I think when I watch the Street Profits, I think I'm seeing, like, one of the greatest tag teams to wrestle, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
They're that effing good.
I don't think they can have a bad match. I really, no matter who you give them.
I've seen one or two clunkers out there, but it wasn't on them. It was on their opponents. But, like, their skill and talent. Yeah, Matt's got a new microphone. If that pops up on camera there, he's got to get his. We're working on it. We're getting better. New tech, new tech, new digs. Obviously, I got work to do still. No light cover. I definitely point that out, but we'll get there. Baby steps. And yeah, but anyways, yeah, I love watching the Street Profits. So. But because it involves the Glamour, I think I've wasted too much breath on this. So correct me if I'm wrong. This is where we get the backstage with Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre?
Yes. And so to tie in what I talked about Cena, I like the fact that Cena was talking all this stuff about respect and loyalty and like how, you're a young guy that's only been in the business a few years, this is how you're supposed to act. We saw with Drew McIntyre that he acknowledged what Cena said without saying anything. Drew was the grizzled old veteran that's kind of mentoring Logan Paul. And what I liked was when Logan Paul came to the back and Drew wasn't like, all half slappy on the back. He was like, so what's going on? Like, kind of like man to man to him. He's like, you have to take care of this tonight. You got to make it right tonight. And so he still really hasn't said anything to validate what Cena said. But the fact was, he's like, he says you got it. So he's kind of like, showing authority over Logan Paul by telling him what to do. And Logan Paul doesn't reply with, yeah, Drew, or yep, got it, Drew. No, what did he say? Yes, sir. So
yep.
A little hidden thing, and I just thought it was really cool because if Drew disregards anything that John Cena says, Drew McIntyre is all about spitting truth, even if it's a little warped at times. Even though he doesn't like John Cena, he knows what John Cena said out there was the truth. And he knew how he could take that, use it as an example with Logan Paul, which then we see later on in the show that Logan's starting to listen. It's not all about him.
I think that's important because I think the Logan Paul character needs that veteran savvy like bump to get to where he wants to go. And I think that's huge because look, there's no denying the talent. But what Cena said was correct. You know how to hustle, but you have no loyalty or respect. McIntyre's putting the loyalty in him and probably a little bit of respect as well. So, like, you can't really fault him for that at all. So, like, it's all good stuff. And then, you know, Drew goes out and cuts a promo. And Randy Orton, you know, we get a hint of Randy Orton, just enough. We get an RKO. Like, what more do you need? And it was beautiful. And like the best meme I saw, somebody took Drew's head and covered it with an ice cream cone. Yeah, you got Randy in the background with his goofy face setting it up. I was like, I love it. I love it. It made me laugh. Randy's having fun. Let Randy do Randy.
And
so
actually, it's a good comparison. Like, we kind of saw this a few years ago with Matt Riddle and Randy Orton, where Riddle was like the goofy, young, cocky guy, and Randy was like the grizzled guy trying to... What we can't have Logan Paul remain this obnoxious, goofy guy for so long. Like, eventually, like, he's got to listen to Drew, where Matt really didn't listen to Randy. But Randy wasn't... Yeah. Well, yeah, he'd get annoyed, but he never really... Randy Orton never really put Matt Riddle in his place, where I think Drew is able to, you know, keep him in check. And I think we're going to see that more and more as it goes on. I think it's going to be a really cool story going forward.
So to go the Bully Ray route, everything is Star Wars, right? So, and I think that whereas the Randy Riddle relationship, they were faces, so you couldn't get that tough love in there. Whereas, like, McIntyre's a heel and Paul is a heel, so you have that Sith side of it where, you know, master apprentice kind of crap. And, like, I think it'll work out great. I like those two together. I like them working together. Too. They're both great singles wrestlers, and, like, you put them in a tag match, like, yeah, whatevs. Go at it. I'm happy with it, you know. All right. So our buddy, yet another member of the pantheon of If We Had the Pencil podcast, R-Truth. R-Truth went to the wrong place. R-Truth didn't realize he was in the wrong place until too late. So he had his friend.
He was in Dublin.
Yeah, the wrong. Which we've seen this one from R-Truth before, so I was like, you know, it only got a single laugh this time where, like, in the past it had me rolling because I was like, only R-Truth could do that. You know, so, like, he's done that before, so whatevs. But he basically sends out, like, Damian Priest as his substitute. We get Damian Priest and Aleister Black beating the crap out of each other, and it was fun. Didn't do much, but it was fun.
I know, I was confused, like, is this a match or is this just a brawl? Like, because
R-Truth really got to the match.
No, it was like a 3-minute match. I bet it was cool. It was fine.
Yeah, it did what it needed to. Like, there's no... You know, and we get to the main event. Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill versus Becky Lynch and Nia Jax. And probably the most monumental thing that came out of this was Becky, like, chucking the deuces towards the end and just like, nah, I'm done. Later, Nia, and walking out. Again, just reestablish. There's two things that did. One, it just said F you to Nia, which is great and heelish. But the bigger heelish thing was, what did the fans want? They wanted to see the match. And Becky's like, nah, I'm done. I'm out. You don't give the fans what they want if you're a heel. And, like, man, she took it away from them. She's just like, nah, I'm out. Good for her, man.
And a great job of the camera not losing the match by just showing Becky walked away. Like, she just, you know, up and left, and they left you with Tessa Torr and Wade Barrett to explain, like, yeah, she just, like, decided she had enough and walked out. So, like, that's cool. I don't need to watch her walk up the ramp for 2 minutes. Like, good, she left, she's out of there, fine. Like, it didn't take away from the match, except for Nia didn't have a partner.
So
Yeah,
to
it
go,
was all right. It heightened up the tension between Tiffy and Jade a little bit, or elevated Jade to be more of a threat to Tiffy. So, yeah, I mean, it did what it had to do. It wasn't the best match of the night, but it was good. Everything was solid on wrestling wise.
oh yeah, and to go back a little bit on your Charlotte Flair moonsault comment, like I agree with you that she has the best one in the game. I'll tell you what though, Tiffany Stratton is a close second. And like, and the reason I say that is because I know we'll say that like, yeah, she misses her mark sometimes, but there's a different level of difficulty in hers. Because hers is like hop, hop, go. Or Charlotte can kind of set hers up for, she gets that little extra millisecond to set her moonsault up to make sure she lands properly, where Tiffy has to like kind of count on that. But man, her form every time on those moonsaults is amazing. And like, I do give her props for that, you know, but like I said, it's not necessarily apples to apples comparison, but like, I did want to give her, you know, her props because I love her moonsault too.
She looked really
Io's
good
got
in
a
that
really
match
good one
too.
too.
She kind of stood out. She had a little bit of a rough swanton though earlier in the match.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It did what it needed to do. And you
And
know what?
then,
If that would have ended the show, that would have been fine. But it got even better when they
it
ended
did.
it.
So, rumor on the street is we got a take two on that one because Logan Paul lands his little titanium punch on John Cena and lays John out. Meanwhile, you know, Adam Pearce is trying to tell him, like, hey, I happened to talk to Brock Lesnar. So that's setting up future stuff there.
But that
But,
was Nick
like,
Aldis. Nick Aldis.
or Nick,
Yeah.
yeah, Nick Aldis, sorry. But, like, yeah, so, like, there was a lot of storytelling in a very quick clip, and the fact that the actual, like, you know, we got that stuff in, or like really advanced that storyline, and that shows that master apprentice relationship we were talking about earlier. So, all in all, I was happy it was SmackDown. I was like, you know, sitting there thinking about, you know, Gladiator, like, are you not entertained? I was like, yeah, I was
Yeah.
entertained.
I thought it was an excellent show. I thought it just had a lot in there, and the matches, and you know, had a little comedy stuff here and there, but a lot of it really ramping up, not even just for Clash of Paris, but stuff going beyond that. So I thought it was a really, really good show. The matches
I
on
thought
there,
so too.
there was a lot in 2 hours, so they did a good job of doing that.
All right, let's keep the ball rolling, man. We gotta go through Raw, which is nice and fresh and crisp in our minds. And
Ish.
boy, I'm so glad it is because we kick off the show and we got Roman Reigns. And finally, we got Roman Reigns to freaking talk. And I'm happy with that. And we'll talk about Roman Reigns throughout the night because guess what? He was busy all night long, which is a testament to him. Thank you. Like, Roman Reigns on this episode of Raw did more for making me give a crap about his return than anything he's done to this point since WrestleMania. And maybe even before, to be honest. This is the most involved, engaged that I felt Roman Reigns has been. You know, and I think when we were talking pre-show, there was stretches during the Bloodline segment where he just existed, but he wasn't proactive or engaged. And it would go long, monthly stretches without him really doing anything other than sitting in the back, rubbing his hands, you know, pondering stuff or pontificating. I don't know. But like the whole point is that like we got a little bit of the humbleness that I've been begging. We got reference that he's all alone. And ever since,
You've been talking about this
man,
for 2 years. But for the people
before
out
the
there
podcast,
listening, yeah, well before. I mean, I think I was still in Missouri, so we're talking over 2 years ago. I think because that's when we first started seeing the fractures in the bloodline. It was about that time, like a little over 2 years ago. And one of the first things you said is that in order for Roman to work as a face of the tournament, he has to lose everything, and he has to be humble.
everything. Yep.
So,
And we're starting to get a hint of that humble. But then with Bronson Reed, you know, I got to give Paul Heyman, slimy little ass, a little bit of credit too, because he kind of plays both sides of the fence when it comes to Roman. You know, I love you, but I'm going to insult you kind of crap and all that stuff.
Disrespect you. Yeah.
But the problem I had with Roman's whole promo, that he almost negated all the good work he did in that short term, was he came across as humble, and then they had the little back and forth about like the whole Samoan thing with Bronson Reed. And then it was like, and Bronson Reed made it a point. My tribe, got sent to Australia, which was a penal colony, obviously. But, he basically went survivor. Like, I got kicked off the island. We got voted off the island. Their torch got put out and they got put on a boat to Australia. But the problem was the minute Roman Reigns found out that he was Samoan, it was like, oh, well, then I own your ass. It's like, oh, bro, you're not the king of all Samoans, man. Like, you have a tribe of Samoans. You do not own you don't have a carte blanche on every Samoan wrestler ever. So it was like, reel that fish back a little bit there, big guy.
Well, if you could hear me over the plane, I wonder if this is intentional, because, like, I don't think a character like Roman Reigns, you can flip him 180 degrees from being the tribal chief and acknowledge me to be like, oh, I was a jerk. I was texting you, like, after the show, I said, I would like to see a little bit more of a touch of the, hey, my name is Joe, part of Roman, like the real, Joe Anoa'i, as part of the character, not the dominant part, but we need to see some of that. But so I think if this is intentional, and what I would do with Roman's character, eventually he's going to become, I think, that humble goody for the most part. I still think he's going to have conflict about, thinking that he's better, that I'm the tribal chief, I'm this and that. Well, you're not. You might be the tribal chief, but you lost like most of your family. You're kind of alone on your island, so you're like right now the tribal chief of one, and maybe if you can talk Jay into it, maybe you'll be a tribe of two. So he's a tribe unto himself. So I think he's going to be conflicted with the fact that I've lost everything, but yet my title is I'm still like the tribal chief. So I think it'd be a good thing to do, to play with his character where he still has those moments where I own you in this and that. I was really hoping, like, when the crowd was really chanting his name, and like he did the acknowledge me thing, which is kind of heelish, but the fans eat it up, so I understand why he does it.
It's his shtick. I don't even think about it anymore.
I would have liked to just seen him go off and hold up his hand and say, I acknowledge you. Because that was something like even The Rock used to do. Like he would have, when he would take it off of him and give it to the audience sometimes. Kind of hoping we're going to see that, but maybe that's down the line. But I still think like Roman just can't flip the switch and like drop everything bad about him. I think there's still going to be some conflict. There's some things that are going to take time. Well, so that's my take on it. I know you have a take.
I do have a take. Actually, I have a refined take just based off of your conversation, which is if we want to play this middle line with Roman Reigns, what I really want to see, and we kind of saw this, and this feeds off a later part, but I'm going to talk about it now. So when he has that backstage conversation with Jey Uso, right? And he's kind of telling Jey how he would do business. And the big thing that I would do, I would have Roman kind of deceptively, and we called it the devil on the shoulder, kind of the Karrion Kross thing. But just start reeling the family back in a little bit. Just a little bit. Getting them closer. Start kind of quasi rebuilding the bloodline a little bit, right? Like, he's always going to have their backs because it's all family crap, which is fine. Whatever. We know how it's going to go. It's the same way that you're like, how the F can you wrestle with him when he treated you like crap? Which has always been a big problem of mine with the bloodline storyline. So fine. Let's set that aside. What I would like is maybe we go if you're looking at the needle of heel and face for Roman, I think we're just teetering on the line kind of back and forth right now, which is great because what you do is you move that needle a little more towards heel. And then he treats Jay, Jimmy, someone like shit. Like he tries to get a little more forceful, a little more original tribal chief stuff.
Kind of like he's falling off the wagon a little bit.
Yeah. And then like they're like, F no, deuces Zeus, and they take off. Like, you know, they kind of separate from him, and that be the catalyst to freaking put him behind, which is always was the story I wanted for him. I wanted the members to peel off, like, yo, I'm done with your crap kind of deal, the tough love. You and I kind of talked about a pre-show, like, you know, it's somebody with an addiction, right? So, like, and I think it's a pretty good analogy, right? Like, so Roman has somewhat fallen to rock bottom, but he's not fully there. We'll listen to Jelly Roll songs later and just, you know, absorb it and really think about this. But anyways, but like we need Roman. He kind of hit rock bottom, but now, but it's like the guy that like he goes out and gets his first DUI, but he still kind of weasels his way into keeping his job and everything else, and he kind of gets through it, right? But then he goes and F's up again, and then, you know, but his family's always there with him, which is my point with the, you know, the Usos,
right,
and the tribe, and blah, 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 blah.
Somebody will bail him out.
Like, your family is going to have your back. But eventually, you can push those people away, which would be beautiful. And I think the devil on the shoulder thing was we saw behavior out of Jey Uso that we don't typically see. Now, that might just be to give Jey an edge, which is fine. He needs one, you know, but let's not sully a good face right now. But there's a little room to work in there is what I'm getting at. We can kind of have, you know, have Roman doing the get it kind of thing, and then it's going to take a significant event to be like, I really did screw up. You know what I mean?
Right. And then when he was talking to Jay, he said something which shows that he still has more to learn, because he was basically saying, like, you don't need to be helping other people. You just need to be, like, helping yourself. It's time for you to look out for yourself. And that's kind of contradictory to what Roman is.
Well, it's contradictory for what Jey Uso's character is.
Right, because he's always about helping everybody out. Back. And now Roman's telling him, no, flip the script on the other way, because that's what Roman did. But look where it's gotten Roman.
Yeah, and I think that that's an important distinction. And I think that's a good way to take that Roman Reigns storyline. And, like, I want to point out that his active, meaningful, not just running in and getting a pop, not just throwing punches and getting his shoes taken, his meaningful interaction in that show last night did a 180 on how I feel about his return this time, because it was, I have something of substance to hang on to now. Because like, I felt like everything before this time. Everything up until now was cheap. You were going to get a pop. He's Roman Reigns. You're going to get a pop. It's going to happen. You saw how the crowd reacted. It's a European crowd. They're just going to fall all over themselves, and that's fine. But you need something to work with and something of substance. And that, honestly, is been one of his biggest failings as a part-timer, which is you have to give me something to clamp onto. You have to give me something that makes me give a crap. You know, getting advertised 2 weeks out that you're going to grace us with your presence, and your presence ends up being a run-in. Well, what did that give me? I don't give a shit. You're just running out for the pop. So, like,
you know who's really great at bringing in, like, part-time, and it always has a purpose, is Brock Lesnar. Because he comes out, and he goes for somebody or something right away, and you know exactly what his intent is. I want that. That's what he wants. And so now you just wait until, like, he came back and he attacked Cena a couple weeks ago. We still haven't heard anything until Nick Aldis said on SmackDown they go off the phone with Brock Lesnar. So they're slow rolling the Brock Lesnar coming in. He'll probably be next month or something. But
it'll probably trigger right after
but
Clash.
Still, like, everybody is kind of like, there was a buzz when Brock Lesnar comes back. There's not that buzz anymore with Roman Reigns coming back, because I think we were hoping for the buzz the last few times. We didn't get it. Maybe this time is different. We're hoping, because like Roman said earlier on, he's got plans. So I don't think he's going to be a full-timer, but gosh, I hope he's a little bit more active than he was.
Yeah, but we didn't hear what those plans are.
No.
His plans might involve, like, I'm going to half-ass be around, and then I'm going to really show up right before Survivor Series. Then I'm going to go on an extended Christmas break, and then
he's going to win the Rumble.
Right around WrestleMania season, I'll start playing ball. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he has to give something significant, because every time he has an extended absence, it's going to be a reset switch for him. And, like, last night was the first time that flicking that reset button actually worked. And I got to give him credit for it. I gave a crap. Like, I didn't care about all the initial stuff, but when he started talking about, like, Jace earned his position. Cool. You're watching that, you know, you're acknowledging that Jay deserves it. You coming out and, you know, basically saying, like, I lost a lot. Cool. Now I care about you. That's all I've been asking for from Roman Reigns. Like, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We shouldn't throw the strap on him right away or anything like that. I need presence and I need meaningful interactions, and we finally got some. So, whew, I think we just did about 10 minutes on Roman alone, which I knew was going to happen. But
it was good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, Dragon Lee and JD McDonough. That's good stuff right there.
Man, JD is one of the best bump takers I have ever seen. I love watching JD wrestle. I love, you know, Dragon Lee is kind of coming into his own now. And it's always funny, right? Like, you get these call-ups from NXT and you're like, I kind of see what they do. But it's always strange because, like, you'll hit a point with a lot of these talents where the light bulb just kind of goes off. And then all of a sudden they're putting on next level matches and you're like, holy crap, this is what they saw in them. And, like, Dragon Lee is one of those guys, right? Like, he would have matches, he'd have spots. You're like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then all of a sudden it's like, he's been throwing in a couple of bangers the last few weeks. And I'm like, good on you, bro.
Well, and then
I
also
like watching him wrestle.
Getting the rub, too, from, from Rey Mysterio. You know, saying he's the future of Lucha Libre. Whether or not that's just a dig to get a Dom or not, just the fact that he's been in Ray's mouth and Ray's talking about him is good. I mentioned Steve.
It's so funny. It's so funny with the LWO, though. Like, is there a more not give a crap about it faction than the LWO? Like, it's just like they all got the tattoo or they got the merch and they were like, just
that's
like,
what it is. Yeah, we're here to sell merch.
LWO
that's the LWO. We're here to sell merch. But, before I forget, and I talked about this before, JD McDonough reminds me of Bryan Danielson. For those of you who never watched or don't know who Bryan Danielson is, Daniel Bryan. When Bryan Danielson was in Ring of Honor, like we're talking over a decade, probably 15 years ago, that dude was off the chain good, and that guy was running, like, you know, most of his matches for 45 minutes. But JD reminds me just so much of him, because he's just the way he moves, he throws himself around. He looks like he's out of control, but he's always in control. Kind of like how Sabu was. Everybody thought he was botching all the time. He really wasn't. But, man, I love watching JD in the ring. His work is so good. And he's tough, too. I mean, for what the injury he had when he hit the announce table. I mean, he takes some pretty stiff bumps. He and Dragon Lee, they put on a great match. I'm glad it got the time it did. It went through 2 whole segments.
I'll say it again, man. The wrestling these last 2 shows have been really effing good.
And they complimented each other really good, too, in that match. They just worked well.
All right, so this is where my list got dorked up. Who's after this?
Penta and Kofi.
So, the story of this match, there's two things that I took from this match. One, Xavier Woods had me dying. Dying, bro. Dying. I was dying. Like, the whole top hat thing, the black neck brace. Oh my God, I was dying. I know. I loved every second of it. And then it was the Penta driver that kind of made me wince a little bit. Kofi landed funny. He got out of it, and thank God he's good. And then finally, it was...
You know what made me wince? When Penta kicked Grayson Waller in the face so hard that Grayson Waller's glasses broke in half. They actually broke in half. Like, you saw the glasses fly and they were in two pieces. Whether or not he broke them, it was snug. That was hilarious. I just remember seeing it and I was like, oh shit, he kicked his glasses off. Like he broke them. Just a cool spot. Yeah, that was a fun match.
And then the officer and gentleman moment of Grayson Waller carrying Xavier Woods out of the fucking arena. I was dying, dude. Like, I don't know. While I'm not thrilled with this heel version of the New Day, like, it doesn't do a lot for me. Boy, they still can make me laugh. And it's kind of nice that they're on the darker side now because they get to tap into different stuff. So we don't get pancakes flying and bootios and all that. Like, we actually get, like, something different from them, but they're still hilarious, and I love it.
So my thing, what I would do with this faction, so Kofi won, right? He beat Penta, and the New Day have been in all black, or black and gray, which the New Day
used to be. Matt.
I know. So let's hear me out.
Morning is a process.
Right. It's a process. So here's the process. It needs to be very colorful. With Kofi beating Penta, you add a little bit of color back into them. Like, this is the process of healing. So as they get a win, they add a little bit of color until, I'm not saying we turn them babyface, because I'm digging the heel New Day, but I'm saying you're going to bring that color back eventually. I would do it bit by bit. And, so when they show up next week, maybe they got a little bit of red or a little bit of blue in there, and, it's something for Cole to talk about. And Corey can go on and, do a 3-part thesis about how you get over mourning or whatever. Because Corey Graves evidently knows all about reptiles and counseling and all sorts of psyche.
Corey Graves has been on next level stuff.
I'll get to you later about the line of the show that he gave in the main event. I had to write it down. He had
another one, and I can't think of it now. I almost want to bring the show up just to find it again. But, all right. After that, we got what? Rhea and Roxanne?
Yeah, we had Rhea and Io backstage. And that's where Io was kind of telling Rhea, that, hey, I respect you. I appreciate you helping me out. But, that is my family, talking about the Kabuki Warriors, and it's caused strife. And, out of respect, we just have some distance. And then, Io, just because she's a sweet kid, her way of thanking Rhea is to give her a hug. And you can see Asuka in the background losing her mind, and Kairi Sane doesn't know which ends up. It's just what I'm getting from a lot of these segments with Kairi Sane. It was just good. You didn't hear Asuka, say anything, but you just saw her flipping out, and that was enough. And then I said this to you, I texted you, and I said, Rhea is just a great character of, you should never judge a book by its cover. Kind of like a life. We tend to look at how somebody looks, and we have, we prejudge them ahead of time. So, you see this, gothic girl with tattoos, and you're like, oh, she's probably rude or mean or doesn't talk to anybody or is really dark. And then you see she's like the antithesis of that, where there's this sweet and kind and generous and respectful side. So I think, when we were a kid watching wrestling, it was always pretty grand, pretty bland. You had a good guy, you had a bad guy, and you wanted the good guy to beat the bad guy, unless you liked the bad guy. But, there was always the life lesson in there. There was patriotism, or there was this or something like that between Hogan and Savage and all that stuff. So I think Rhea's a good life lesson to look at with her character, because she's just the real Rhea Ripley, the girl that plays Rhea is just a sweetheart of a girl, and I think it's so cool that she brings that out in her Rhea Ripley character. You get to see that.
You know where this is going, right? I
Her
already see the booking. What's going to happen is it's going to be her and Io versus the Kabuki Warriors.
Absolutely.
They're going to knock that out, and then you're going to get her and Io versus Charlotte and Alexa.
Let's do it.
Woo!
Let's
Sign
do it.
me
Yep.
up, Jack. Yep.
We talked about elevating
about it as you were
titles. Boy,
talking
does that
about it. I
make
was
the
like-
women's tag team title huge if you put that story together. That just super
And
elevates that title.
And that's really what they have been doing, right? Like, so they came out with the U.S. title. They came out with the IC title for the women. And those titles needed a little oomph to really kind of get the ball rolling. It's not that... Because you don't want them to become like the Hardcore Championship and the 24/7 and blah, blah, blah. You don't want those titles to become that. You want oomph and gravitas. The fact that Becky holds the IC title, that's gravitas. And if you make Charlotte and Alexa versus Rhea, so like it's like 2 generations of female wrestlers going at it. Like, you know, the previous generation and the current generation going at it, that's huge for the tag division. And I think that's where it's going, which is great. Like, book that. Like, let's do that because there's some value in it. And, like, they're doing great storytelling. Eventually, Io is going to lose her crap and just be like, I'm done. I'm done. You guys are toxic. You know, meaning the Kabuki Warriors. And, like, the Kabuki Warriors get to come out looking a little clean because they're just like, well, we tried to help you and blah, 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 blah. So, like, there's a lot there that can be done. And I think that this is all going to end up with that title match. And it gives Io a break from being in the Women's World Championship match picture. You know, kind of change it up, freshen it up a little bit, which is fine. You know, like, who the hell has the Women's World title right now? Oh, nobody.
Nobody, because
Naomi's pregnant. I was like, wait a minute.
Talk
Yep.
10 minutes about the glamour.
And Fakir, an opponent to be named later. So, but yeah, I mean, and Roxanne Perez has been wrestling her ass off lately too. So props to her too. Like, good on them. All right, what was next, Matt?
Next was Becky Lynch coming out and dumping on Birmingham. Nikki Bella came out and started dropping C words.
All right. Look, I'm not going to deep dive into this whole Ozzy thing, but, like, Ozzy's a WWE Hall of Famer. Becky is a heel. Becky put Ozzy over. I think a lot of people are hyperventilating because Kelly Osbourne kind of had a shit fit about it, and I understand she's grieving, so, but it's wrestling. Ozzy's a WWE Hall of Famer, and, bro, it is what it is. She did heel stuff. She did heel stuff in her hometown. Could have been done better, probably. But yeah, I'm not going to crap on it.
I thought it was a little. I thought it was a little over what she should have. She could have referenced it. Yeah, saying if you go to Birmingham, you die. I was kind of like, ugh. I just dipped your toe over the line too much.
She said she would.
I thought the whole. Oh, she would die. I misheard that then. I do like the little edginess to Nikki. She doesn't come across so sweet anymore. She was, cussing out Becky and then
music's gotta
word.
Oh,
it does. She has the word. Get rid of that.
Let's freshen it up. Don't let Def Rebel do it. Let somebody with talent do it. But let's freshen up that opener too. Like, they freshened up Becky's. I like Becky's actually. So.
Yeah, I like Becky's new music.
I mean, it did what it did. It did what it did. I'll be real interested to see if like where Nikki Bella goes. It's Nikki, right? Yeah, Nikki.
Yeah.
I can't tell them apart. I got people for that. I got people for that.
Yeah, Breeze home with Daniel Bryan right now.
Okay, cool. But yeah.
And next was Punk. So there was an interview in the back with LA Knight, and CM Punk jumped in, and I picked up on this, and maybe it's because I've been watching wrestling for too many years, and I saw that old school mentality, but Punk used LA Knight's signature saying and changed it to CM Punk. Yeah, And I personally, I thought like, man, I think that's a no-no in the ethics of the locker room. Now, I don't know if LA Knight gave him permission or not, but I'm thinking, why would he? Because I just didn't like it. We try not to focus too much on the negative unless we're talking about Sammy Zane's character. Again, with like the same thing with Becky Lynch, I think they kind of stepped on it a little bit, and especially Punk did. And it didn't make Punk look any better. Now he's stealing other people's lines, like.
No, it made him.
I didn't like it.
The big problem with the Big Punk is not a problem, but he didn't need to go there. Like, he's too talented on the microphone to need to steal LA Knight's stuff. Like, if you want to take something LA Knight said and spin it, fine. But that's not what he did. He kind of just stole that thing. And if that takes off, that's crappy on him. And, like, I know I'm nitpicking, but I wasn't a big fan of it when he did it. You know, so
and if he's ever in the ring with Knight and he tries to do that, in front of Knight, I hope Knight pops him right in the mouth. But anyway, I saw it.
So like it's important to think about that for a second though, because you can't talk. Like, I don't want people to think I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth either, because like when LA Knight was wrestling Braun Breaker was making fun of his stuff too in the ring. But it was funny. And the fact that like Punk used it as a promo is crappy. Like, you can make fun of the guy's shtick in the ring, but you shouldn't be back there ganking it and twisting it into yours. And people are going to disagree with me on that, but I wasn't a big fan of it. We'll just put it that way. And it's not to say that LA Knight's so fragile he can't overcome it. It's just, it's a bad look on Punk. It's kind of cheap.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Punk went from playing like quarter slots to playing penny slots.
Yeah. He's been off the last couple of 3 weeks. Then finally, after all that, we finally get to Rhea Ripley and Roxanne Perez, which was a good match. And in between this show, we had a Sheamus video package and a Rusev one, just basically getting you ready for the Donnybrook. I don't think they're really worth spending too much time on this show.
No, it's probably the match on the card that I'm least excited about. You know,
I loved in Rhea and Roxanne. Though we saw some good psychology in there, where Roxanne kept working Rhea Ripley's leg, because she's smaller, Rhea's stronger, does more power moves. So if Roxanne keeps working on Rhea's leg, that's taken away some of her skill set. So really good psychology in that match. I enjoyed that match.
Yeah, again, good match. I mean, even the main event, which was the LA Knight stuff with Braun Breaker, like, it all did good. And the beauty of that, we might as well just get into it. Like, a lot happened. Everybody kind of came out. And I think the most impactful and smart thing that happened was the heels got chased out of the ring. They're on the ramp. And, like, next thing you know, the faces start poking at each other. And then Seth Rollins, being Seth Rollins, was like, wait. They're going to do it for us. And he just held Breaker back, and he's like, nope, they're gonna take each other apart. And Jay doing that super kick, going back to the Roman conversation, the little devil on his shoulder, got Jay to do something out of character, which was he took the shot, and
super kick both Knight and Punk, which was cool. And I even liked before that when Roman attacked Bronson in the back, like, came out of nowhere, was surprised, like,
leading up
that.
to it.
I'm like, yeah, that, like, all that stuff was so good, because guess what? You didn't see Bronson Reed the rest of the night, so it made Roman look a little more effective, and it hyped up their match on Sunday.
But you had an active Roman Reigns, right? Like, it makes a difference. It makes a big difference. Like, not just goon squatting in the back and not just coming in as a run-in. Granted, that was a run-in, but his work that he did previous to, made all the difference in the world in that. But again, because you got to stop and think. You got to stop and think about this match for a second. This match is 3 faces and 1 heel in this fatal 4-way. And, like, there's a lot of potential there for an implosion, and I like it with all the faces. They've been kind of getting at each other, and obviously you're going to get some spin-offs, right? Like, you're going to get, I think it's a foregone conclusion, you're going to get Punk and LA Knight at some point. And LA Knight deserves it. He's been wrestling his stones off. He was amazing in that match.
Yeah.
He was doing great. Time out. Let's talk about the save. The save of the night. Braun Breaker went to get him up, had him up, and then LA Knight started slipping, and even the announcer was like, oh, like, oh crap, that's going to go really bad, and Braun Breaker saved it. Like, props to him, man. That was good awareness. Like, you got to acknowledge that. That was really good awareness on his part.
And that was the spot. Was it the spot in the corner, right? I'm trying to remember. But
As you're watching on TV, it was towards the left ropes. Well, by the time it ended, it was by the ropes. And then LA Knight kind of saved, to keep the match moving, kind of moved it into a DDT or something like that. But, like, great. Great work by both of them to save that.
You overshot something.
LA Knight would have fallen on his head.
Yeah, I remember it now. Not even 24 hours later in my Marty spot. But so we were talking about this at pre-show, and you and I always have an open dialogue about whether or not Gunther has it, which he said he doesn't, and I kind of say he does. But Braun Breaker has capital letters, bold text, italicized, underlines, quotation, neon lights. I mean, that dude is going to be like the star to come. And for a while, he might end up being better than his dad and his uncle. Like, he's just amazing. The stuff he does,
by far, he's gonna be great. Like, absolutely amazing.
And I think the Steiners were brothers, but they were revolutionary when they came out. They did stuff we never seen. So I mean, they were no slouches. They were as big a beasts as Braun was.
Bro,
now
that Frankensteiner he hit was so perfect.
Yeah, it was snapped to that too. It was real clean, and LA Knight did great going with it too.
It was so good.
So because you got to
Yep. Oh man, it was so good. Like, there's a lot of good. I love that match, by the way.
Yeah,
before all the shenanigans and stuff.
I would run Braun and LA Knight back at.
I have no problem with it. I want to go back on, like, I'm gonna ding Bronson Reed a little bit in his promo at the start of the night too, because it kind of occurred to me as we were talking about this. When Bronson Reed was talking about rolling the clock back, he made a reference to, like, let's roll the clock back real quick. And he only went back a couple of weeks. I would have been a lot happier had he gone back to Survivor Series. Survivor Series? War Games.
Yeah, that was Survivor Series. When he broke his feet.
Wrestling for the Bloodline. And I really think he should have went back. That is the most direct shot he has at Roman, which is, I put myself out of commission in this business for you. And did you acknowledge me? Did you mention me? Did you say anything at all? No. Consider this compensation for... I would have spun the Shula Fala like nobody's business, too. I would have spun it so hard, Matt. I would have been like, yep, every pair of shoes I take for you is for a month I missed out on wrestling for your ass. Like, that would have been great. Like, just let him keep on stacking them up. I don't have a problem with it.
No.
Like,
he almost got Roman again Monday. Almost did.
Yeah. You knew he wasn't going to get him 3 times. At least not on a regular show. So, Matt, you want to get into it? It's prediction time.
Prediction?
Let's talk some Clash.
All right. I'll put my notes down.
Let's get the match cards up. All right, so here's the story, folks. So I believe I heard a rumor or a thing or a report or something that basically said Clash is supposed to be 6 matches. I only have 5. There's only 5 that I know of right now. And I'm probably missing one, and then you're going to get my comments and be like, Sean's an idiot. And I'll be like, okay, cool, you're probably right. You know, but anyways. So I'm going to work my way through the card, Matt. You ready?
Sure. Yeah, real quick.
Go ahead.
I forgot the funny line. During the main event, Paul Heyman's over there giving counsel and wisdom to Braun Breaker on the side. And Corey Graves comes out with this gem and compares Paul Heyman to the Jiminy Cricket of violence. We had to get a Disney reference.
It was good.
I thought that. I was sitting there wondering, like, I'm just wondering if that might be something Paul uses, like, in a promo down the line. Like, yeah, I'm the Oracle. I've been the wise man. Hell, I've even been called the Jiminy Cricket of violence.
I'm sure you will. It's Paul. Yet another member of the Pantheon on this show.
But yeah, Corey Graves has been excellent. He's so good with Michael Cole. I really hope that, I don't know who's calling the pay-per-view Sunday. I hope it's Mike and Corey, but I have a feeling it's going to be Mike and Wade don't do it.
Well, Corey's over there, though. Go with a 3-person. I don't know. Like, let's keep Wade away. I'd be much happier with, let Corey do his thing, man. I love Corey on the mic. Corey's perfect. He found his balance. We talked about that a long time ago before we started the podcast, that he was having a problem. He was so into heels that, you know, Jerry Lawler would be able to flex, right? You know, and even Ross back in the day would every now he would acknowledge something great that a heel would do, but he'd always favor the faces. So that's really the tricky part for especially the color guy to kind of walk that thin line. Like, you need to lean heel most of the time, but you also got to acknowledge the faces. And Wade Barrett was doing it for a while, and he's kind of gotten away from it. So, brief indictment on the freaking commentaries right now. Corey Graves is nailing it, though.
Yeah. All right. We'll let you get back to your bringing up the card for this weekend at Clash in Paris.
I got the card. Well, like I said, we got 5. So, I think that, I swear to God, I read somewhere there's going to be a 6th. I might be missing it, but we'll go from there. We still
got a SmackDown show on Friday night where something can get thrown together. We've seen it before.
That is true. Tiffany Stratton doesn't have a match. And they're, you know, but, all right. Who will start the show? Who will start the show?
Start it with Roman and Bronson.
Yep.
That'd be a hot opener. It would be Roman and Bronson.
That's going to be a hot opener. So we're going to get Roman and Bronson Reed.
Which would still leave well, I would put Roman and Bronson on first because it leaves both those guys open for the rest of the night. So time to recover, because I think the main event's the Fatal 4-Way. There's going to be shenanigans. I think you'll see them both happen.
I don't think the main event's the Fatal 4-Way. I think the main event's John Cena and Logan Paul.
We'll see. They probably
just because they want Cena.
Your world title should always be.
I think the Fatal 4-Way is actually going to be the second to last match. So
we'll see.
But yeah, Roman Reigns, Bronson Reed. Who do you got?
For the sake of the faction, I want Bronson Reed. Like, if Roman wins, it's like, no, Roman needs to lose. So I'm gonna go with Bronson Reed. That's who I'd have winning.
Okay, so this is going to get complicated. This all boils down to how much more your camera's running away.
It is.
Look at them gams.
About ready to get X-rated.
Woo! About to go like Basic Instinct up in here. Like, anyways,
DX
so this gets complicated because, yep. So if Roman is being more proactive during this European jaunt, then I think Roman probably goes over. However, I'm with you. I think for the sake of the faction, I think you have Bronson Reed go over. I do think that on the outside looking in, it looks like Roman is trying to put over talent right now, right? But Roman says he's got big plans. It all comes down to what Roman's schedule is, which I don't know right now. And it's kind of a big, I need to know to really make an informed decision, because if the plan is like Cody's wrapping his crap up and now it's time for Roman to go start filming Street Fighter, then okay, maybe we tsunami Roman like 50 times and he's got to walk it off or something. I don't know. So, but I'm not excited if Roman wins because it doesn't really do much for me yet. Right? Like, I don't think Roman winning, it's just like the cheesy, like, feel good, like, good, Roman won, because then we'll get our typical, like, spear, Superman punch, another spear, Roman wins, yay.
No, I want Bronson. I want Bronson to read, because not many people beat Roman. If Bronson beats Roman, he's one of the few that have beaten Roman. And then it just makes the faction look even.
Well, I also feel that it feeds into the humbling of Roman Reigns.
That too.
Right? You could do it in a way that, if Roman takes 6 million freaking tsunamis and, like, really just gets the crap kicked out of him. And this, I'm telling you right now, this is going to be a good match, because they both operate at a similar pace that is actually going to be very beneficial for both of them for that match. So I think, I'm going to say Bronson Reed for now, but I will not be shocked if Roman wins. I just think that Roman winning is kind of a meh answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it'll get a nice little pop, but what does it do for you? Unless there's a lot of follow-on scheduled for Roman. If there is, then by all means. But I think Roman taking an L, it keeps Bronson strong. It keeps it, Roman's Roman, but I think it humbles him. So I think there's a lot more benefit in Roman dumping, but I don't know. I can't predict it, because these European shows are always hard to predict too.
That's right too, because you want to keep the international audience happy, so you kind of. But boy,
well, they're going to be happy regardless.
Yeah.
They always show up happy. The problem is that, like, it's always tough. But I digress. I'm taking Bronson Reed. I'll take Bronson Reed.
I'll take Bronson. We won't belabor that.
All right, Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella. Who you got?
Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella. Oh. Well, I guess we're going 2 for 2 with the heels. I just don't see Nikki Bella being the one to take the title off.
I don't either. And this is another one of those ones, kind of with Roman too, where it'd be a vibes thing. And I don't know. Like, what do you gain? Becky's lending credibility to that title. She's doing her best heel work, but I don't think that heel work pops the same without the title. So then she just becomes the whiny heel. So
how many matches
keep the strap
has
on
Nikki
Becky.
Bella had since she's been back? Like 1?
2
matches. Yeah, no, sorry. That's not how it works here. Yeah, I think she gives a good showing, but I think Becky pulls out in the end.
Yeah, no.
Becky's on a roll, so yeah.
Donnybrook match. Sheamus and Rusev. I'll take it. I'll take Sheamus. I think Sheamus is going to go over. It's Donnybrook match. It's over there. I think Sheamus will get a huge pop, and I think that, I just
don't know if you want it. I don't know if it'll hurt Rusev. And I think Sheamus's lot in life is like he's the guy that's starting to get the mid to upper level talent over. So I don't think it's about him getting over anymore. I think that's his role. He's that guy that, he'll get a win here and there, but I don't know. But then again, we're going to have a heel stack card because we already know who we got in the Fatal 4-Way. So, but then again, you can start working an angle too where Sheamus goes over Rusev. AJ doesn't get the deal done with Dominic, and Sheamus makes one final run at the IC title before, tries to get that triple, whatever that whole Grand Slam championship is. I don't know. I think it makes more sense for Rusev, but there's a part with Sheamus. So I'm gonna call myself undecided.
You spineless worm. All right. So
I mean, I don't know. It's tough because it's like there's a good reason for Sheamus. You know what? If I gotta call somebody, it's Rusev. I'm gonna go with Rusev.
yeah, I don't know. Like in this context, I don't think Rusev going over does anything. It's just kind of a. I'm picturing the crowd, right? Like you had this European crowd, you know. But
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. It's a tough one for me because like I want Sheamus to get some recognition and get over, but it's like if you're trying to build up Rusev, you have him lose like the basically the rubber match, the stipulation match of the feud, which I think a Donnybrook match is a stupid thing. I think they should have went
taken
either.
2 heels. You've taken 2 heels. That's the other reason I went with freaking Sheamus. I think Sheamus is your feel good, like, yay.
Yeah.
So
All right.
that
Yeah.
gives you a face.
Okay. I'm good with that. As long they just got to do it in a way that doesn't hurt Rusev.
Yep.
But it's not
And
like
then-
Sheamus is a
all
slouch either. So
For the World Heavyweight Championship, Fatal 4-Way, CM Punk, Jey Uso, LA Knight, and Seth freaking Rollins. Yeah, Seth.
after
I'm
much
going with Seth.
shenanigans and interference from
I think this sets up Knight and CM Punk. I also think that it sets up a little bit longer run with Jay and kind of chasing Seth, which also ties into Roman. So I think that there's a little more to that story. And, you know, going back to my earlier proposed like change in Roman Reigns' trajectory, so to speak, is Roman or, you know, Roman kind of shoving Jay out of the way because he's so obsessed with Seth, rightfully so, that, you know, it leads to that. So I'm going to say Seth. I think Seth having the title is important, and I think that faction is important, and you got to keep that going right now. And then John Cena and Logan Paul.
Oh, Cena. I got Cena winning this one. But and I think that's your real big
I can
feel
see-
good stuff. And I think what's going to cost
I think I
Logan is
can
his attitude will cost him, his lack of respect and doing all that. Drew's going to tell him to do something. He's going to do something that he shouldn't have done, and that's what's going to cost him. So he's going to learn from him. He's going to lose from making a mistake, not so much that Cena beats him. I would have Logan Paul beat himself.
Yes, absolutely. Which provides another opportunity for John Cena, or provides another opportunity for a lesson from Drew McIntyre.
Cena gets the
So
dub.
that
Logan
definitely
still looks
makes sense.
strong because Logan Paul will do Logan Paul things. And you know what? When anything, I think from here on now to December, if it has John Cena's name attached to it, it's nothing you can do. I
don't
can
think
hurt
he's
the
going to
person.
win them all. I think he
No,
could
I don't
lose
think
to
so
Brock.
either. But this is his final.
But I think when you're on
his
this-
final European appearance, I don't think Cena. I think Cena wins this one.
He's only got 10 more dates, so he's going to show up on SmackDown, and he's got this PLE. So, it's what it is. I just think Cena wins this one. But like you said, I think you have Logan Paul slip on a banana peel, and, you know, and that gives Drew McIntyre his in. So, Matt, we got through it, and we're still doing good. We haven't hit 2 hours again. Hot damn.
Yeah, we're under an
So
hour
tell the
30.
folks where they can find us, bud.
Well, they can find us on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts and TikTok. Please like and subscribe. Again, I've been trying to get back to those who leave comments and all that stuff. So we enjoy your comments and we appreciate you watching. And make sure that you share our videos with your friends and get them on board as well. And with that, that's all
Yeah,
I
it's
got
like
for this week.
Matt was telling me like beforehand that like the Bailey video right now is like taking off. So like that's exciting, man. Like that's good stuff because I think there's a good angle there. But that's what we want to talk about, man. Let's talk about stories. Let's flush this stuff out. You know, you heard it with the 4-Way, man. There's a lot that can peel off of that. So folks, we love you. Keep on listening. Keep on liking. Keep on subscribing. Keep on watching Matt play with his flashlight because he's in the dark. The Ghost in the Darkness, rocking the 10th Mountain shirt.
There we go.
But, yeah, everyone.
And I love you all in a strictly platonic way, too. Just I want to put that out there.
That's right. Nothing but love. Sean's excited because this is last free weekend, and then NFL starts, and then it's on the road to Bills games again. Woo! But anyways, folks, thank you so much for listening. We greatly appreciate it. We look forward to Clash in Paris. We look forward to SmackDown. Let's enjoy this European tour. Let's enjoy all those crazy European crowds. Have a blast, and let's talk about it next week. Everyone, have a good one. Be safe, and talk to you all later. We're out.
Goodbye.